Hi, it's Sherri from A Quilting Life, and I'm here today to share my October 2024 works in progress. I am busy right now getting ready for Quilt Market, so I've got a couple of those, but then I've also got a few little personal things that I've been working on. And I want to remind you that this Thursday, our sew along begins with our Family Favorites book. So we are doing the Brightly sampler from this book, and you will need the book to sew along, but stay tuned for Thursday and be sure to come back for that video where we will get everything going for this sew along. Okay, but let's go ahead and get started with this month's works in progress. Okay, so just a reminder, I mentioned in the introduction, but be sure to come back on Thursday for the first 2 blocks that we'll be sewing for our Family Favorites sew along. And you can see I had my book spiral bound. Billy actually took it to FedEx and had that. It just makes it so helpful when you're sewing with a book like this that has a lot of different blocks and different projects. It just really helps to be able to, you know, open the book and lay it. I'm trying to find a couple pictures, you know, just kind of lay it absolutely flat for when you're working. So really love that, and hopefully we will see you on Thursday for that. Okay, next project, you've probably already seen this video, but I did finish up the Quilter's Big Tote for my Quilt Market booth. I made it with our Raspberry Summer fabric collection, and I did kind of a pattern review for this video if you want to go back and look at that. I did use the Dresden cheater print for the inside. And I also made a Moda free pattern mini charm pouch to go along with that. So these will be in my booth at Quilt Market, and as I mentioned, we did already film a video for them. Okay, so next thing I'm working on, this is also going to be for Quilt Market. I am going to have a pattern available for this. It's going to be a pillow for the Quilt Market booth. These are half square triangles from Raspberry Summer. I actually have 20 more half square triangles to make, and then I'll be putting that together. And when I do finish this, I will be sharing a pattern with actually 2 different layouts for the half square triangles. So you'll probably see this in Quilt Market pictures, maybe before I get a chance to get a video filmed, or maybe I'll just share it when I share my November works in progress. But anyway, this will be done probably tonight, actually. Okay, next up, I needed to make a baby quilt for a friend. Actually, this is for my youngest son's fiance's. Her best friend is expecting a baby, and they aren't going to find out if it's a boy or a girl, and so they wanted to do all different shades of green. And so I said, yes, I'd love to make her a quilt. She's been such a good friend to you. And so I actually pulled my baby pattern. This is an older pattern of mine from back when we shared our Desert Bloom collection, and the pattern actually has 2 different options, a 9-patch option with an optional little applique included, and then also a kind of more of a houndstooth looking design. So these 2 quilts that I originally made have long been gifted to people having babies, but I decided to make the 9-patch version and add a couple of borders just to make it a little bit bigger. And the 9-patch version is actually written for a layer cake, and it goes together super, super quickly. I actually just used, you know, scrap fabrics because I was cutting from a wide variety of greens these are from some of our earliest collections all the way up to Raspberry Summer. But I wanted something to go along with it, and I ended up using the Magic Dot print from Vanessa Gertzen of Lola Boutique, and it just worked really well. You know, like I said, we don't know if it's for a girl or a boy, and so there's kind of all different little colors of dots in here. So I think this is going to be really fun. For the backing, I used just a gray from Emma. I kind of pictured this quilt as being one of those floor quilts that you put on the floor and lay the baby on the quilt. Whatever they want to use it for is great, but Anyway, really super excited to get this done. I'm actually gonna get it up to my son and his fiance very soon so they can gift it to their friend. Okay, next, and this is what I'm super excited about. I'm actually gonna have Billy pop up a picture right now while I'm talking of my Moda Blockheads 5 quilt that I just finished. I mentioned last month in the September Works in Progress that I was going to do a fall quilt using that same layout, and I've got a lot more progress done since I filmed before, so I just kind of want to show you. And I also want to show you some of the particulars about putting it together, because even though I have the free PDF for the layout, I feel like when I shared the Moda Blockheads 5, I didn't give you an up-close look at kind of how it all went together, so I want to do that today. So I have made a total of 28 star blocks and 28 churn dash blocks. And I did go ahead and put low volume prints in the centers of all the churn dash blocks. These have both been bordered already. So you border your 6-inch blocks with strips, 2 on this side and then 2 on the top and bottom. So that's what they look like when they're bordered. And then you actually sew them together into pairs. And what I'm doing is I'm making sure that as I sew pairs together that they are contrasting colors. And when you sew them together, what you can do, this is the part I really want to show you up close, is you can turn the blocks so that there aren't any seams to nest. See, if we were going to sew these together like that, we would have all of this bulk from these 2 seams needing to match up. But we're going to turn one of them so that when we sew, there are only seams on one of the pieces. And the great thing about these too is that when you go to place them in your quilt, you can flip them whichever way you need to flip them. So, and just to show you also, so I've got all of my churn dash made. I didn't have these done. I might have had some of them done. But I've got all of the churn dash put together in a variety of colors. And then when I was on a little fishing camping retreat, I made all of my star blocks. So I've got all of them put together. These just need to have the borders sewn so that they look like these. So that's kind of where I'm at with the small blocks. And then I'll set them together into pairs. And actually I might not set them into pairs until I have everything done and just kind of laid out on the floor. Again, this is a king size quilt, so it's not going to really fit anywhere but on the floor for choosing the layout. Okay, I do have all of my bigger blocks made. Some of them I have both of the borders on. So again, you border your large blocks too. So I've got some of them bordered. And then I think all the rest I have 2 of the borders on and they're just waiting for the top and bottom. So I need to finish those borders. And then as soon as I get those all bordered, I'm going to lay everything out. This is the setting pattern. You can download it for free. It's just a 1-page explanation. But I do have my little box where I've got all my border strips cut. I think I need to cut a few more of these, but these are completely cut and these might be. So anyway, I've got everything ready to go. But the last thing I wanted to show you is I just really wanted to show you how nifty it is when you go to start putting the quilt together. So I did put the center row of my quilt together, and you just follow the pattern layout. And for the center row, it had, you know, a pair and then a large block, and then a pair and then a large block, a pair, large block, pair, large block. And so you just alternate it, and then once again, when you sew them together, you aren't going to have any seams to match. There is never going to be a place where you're going to have bulk with your seams. So it's just such a great way to put together, especially such a large quilt. And that's why I was just determined after I made the other version with my blockheads blocks that I was going to do this and finally get a fall quilt put together, because it's just super, super simple to put this together. So what I will do is my next step is I will lay this out. I'll get all the rest of my blocks bordered, and then I probably will intentionally place them all. And then you make 7 rows like this, and then you just sew the rows together down the long sides. And so it's automatically sashed with the sashing that you make while you're putting everything together. So really, really excited about this because, as I've mentioned several times, I've had make a fall quilt for a king size bed for my room on my bucket list for a long time. And I think I might have this, finished up, and it's probably just a day or two's worth of work here. So anyway, those are my projects for October 2024. Like I mentioned, there's a few more coming, but we'll share them with you next month. Okay, so that's it for my October works in progress. I will have a few more things that I will have finished before the end of the month that I'll be sharing in next month's work in progress video, because just a lot of things are going on right here now in the sewing room. But this is what's going on right now, and hopefully I'll have this quilt finished and possibly even back from the quilter to show you finished pictures of it. Be sure to check the description for the links, because there is a free PDF for the setting of this, and I've got links to everything else that I shared. If you enjoyed today's video, please share it with a friend, hit the like button, and subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. Thanks so much for stopping by.